ISIS is a small movement of thugs and criminals, but there are lots of people who support ISIS and who like what it's doing. ISIS gives them a sense of empowerment, of power, of purpose in life, of creating a society that they see ideally as a perfect, just Islamic society. And many of them were radicalized in jail, and many of them were radicalized because of Western military action in Iraq and Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia and other places. So I think ISIS is a criminal terrorist group, but we will only defeat it by understanding what brought them to life. If you have millions, tens of millions, who emotionally are inclined to think positively of what ISIS is doing, it's because the conditions in their lives are so difficult. And this can be addressed by good economic growth, good governance, and real citizenship. Too much emphasis is placed on things like, we need to promote moderate Islam, we need to counter the narrative of ISIS on Twitter. Those are all symptoms. People are reacting to the symptoms, and they're not addressing the underlying issue. Therefore, the longer-term strategy is really hard. It takes a long time, but it's doable. It's to promote better governance, economic growth, social equity, social justice. These are things that are deeply entrenched in Arab Islamic's values and society. The average citizen must feel that he or she can actually improve their lives and their children's lives by being engaged politically and socially, that their activism can bring about the changes that they want. So our challenge in the Arab world is to enhance those mechanisms of participation by ordinary citizens, which means freedom of speech, the ability to speak out openly and honestly and responsibly and accurately, as well as participation. So it took the Western world about 500 years to go from the Magna Carta to the French Revolution. So, they didn't do it in 20 years either. The problems of the Middle East are a combination of poor governance in many Arab countries, the impact of 70 years of the Arab-Israeli conflict. The Arab-Israeli conflict is central to this issue of the problems that we have, the instability, and continuous and ongoing now military interference by foreign powers. So there's a structural, real problem in the relationship politically and militarily between foreign powers and Arab countries. And it's up to us in the Arab world to turn this around. And if we take the lead in better governance and more effective policies, foreign countries will respect us more and follow us more. The U.S. has a special role to play in Arab-Israeli peacemaking because it's the only country that the Palestinians and the Arabs and the Israelis actually want to be involved and respect and count on to help them achieve and maintain a peace. The Iran negotiations were a tremendous example of what the U.S. could actually do with the P5+1 process, with other countries involved. What we need is an American leadership that can understand the importance of applying to the Arab-Israeli conflict the same principles of negotiating a permanent, fair, equitable agreement as it just did in Iran. The United States can't go around zapping people and killing them with drones anywhere it wants in the world and saying, well, we have the right to do this. The Israelis do the same thing. They kill people, detain people. They've completely failed with their current approach, and they should just drop it. What the U.S. should do is harness an international coalition of countries in the region, in the West, in the Islamic world, all over the place, to come together and do for the Arabs and the Israelis what the world just did for the Iranian situation.